All right. Hello. Hello. As I go around with all these crazy things, I can actually take these headphones off because I don't need them at the moment. Let's get that Elgato audio. There we go. So we're going to play some more Castlevania. Maybe finish it. Hopefully finish it. This is going to be the last night that I play this regardless, because tomorrow we're going to look at Kodelka for the PS1. We're only doing a one-off of that. I'm not doing a full playthrough of that game or anything like that. I've never actually played that game. So that's going to be a lot of fun to take a look at that for the first time. Actually, when I'm done with stream here, I have to hook up the PS2, make sure that it's working. I haven't. I don't see why it wouldn't, but it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since I've taken a look at anything on that PS2. So. I have a general idea of where to go now, so. And I don't know, I should probably look. I haven't even looked on camera. You can probably. Yeah, if you see this right here on camera, this is the monitor. In fact, I'm going to try and push it back just a little bit since it's off screen, but that's the monitor I had to drag in here to do this, since I learned after the first stream of this game that for whatever reason the GameCube doesn't like that monitor that I have, so I legitimately, like, that's probably the most scared I've been in a while. Like, I legitimately thought it ruined this 4K monitor. It didn't, thankfully. There we go. Where is it? I'm trying to remember exactly how to get up to that area again. I feel like I just kind of walked into it. Okay, we're in one of those rooms now. I know this has a big part of what to do and where we're going next. That's for sure. Alright. I think we've covered this room completely now, so. I was gonna say, what spawns now? Which one am I in now? Okay. You guys will have to forgive the look of the room behind me. It's just a filthy mess. I haven't bothered to try and clean up this room in some time, and it's just piling up. Like, shit's piling up. to the point where like I need to sit down and oh shit, I need to sit down and figure it out. I just haven't. I just realized we're almost dead. Keep hitting the wrong button. Probably have something I can use. Sure. Problem in these games, and then I have the same issue with like every single one of them, is I have a tendency not to use any of those healing items, and then I totally forget that I have them, because like I always have a tendency to just like run back to the save room and heal that way, and I do that like every single time. Can't remember if it came from the right or the left, so we're gonna go right. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Okay. Look at this one. Just kicks me. Whatever. There's a save room up here. I'm never gonna complain about that. Just kicks me right into that room. With his Superman cape. I'm assuming this is probably. I'm assuming this is the boss, but apparently we have to do something there. Full look into what you're supposed to do there. I don't remember. Is that, yeah, that kind of covers this area, so there's probably something we have to do and then go back. That's my guess. Fighting that thing yet again. Alright, so we've been in that one. We need to get to this like center one. There's another. Okay. Hey, we made it to the clock tower, so I guess that's something. That's kind of what we were looking for anyways. I should change the background. I'm trying to think of what another one I could use is. We could try this one. Something different. clock towers, like in every Castlevania game, the clock tower is always a bitch to navigate. There's usually like a hidden wall too. I guess not. So yeah, if I seem a little off tonight, it's because my allergies are really acting on it. Like, so I didn't really realize it. I wasn't really paying attention today, and I had this window open all day while I was working, and it just got warmer and warmer, windier and windier. It's up where I live. It's up to like, it got up to like 74 or 75 degrees here today, and so like as I'm sitting here, like I'm starting to feel worse and worse. I'm like, ugh, like are we really like? Because I've had like a good, like I'd say almost week of no issues, and it's been really nice. And so I'm like, is this really what that is? And I pull out, I have a good allergy app on my phone, and I've never seen the values higher on this app. So it's bad. I'm talking like, I think it goes up to 100. I think that's like the max you can max out at for the 4 different types, I guess, of like main pollens. There's mold. There's, I mean, obviously there's different, you know, versions, but the 4 main types is like there's mold, there's weed, there's grass, and then tree. Mold is the biggest one for me. It just like, if it's like there's even a little bit of mold, like, I just start feeling like trash. That's at like a 90 today. So like I saw that and I'm like, oh god, this is, and then you top that off with like so there's mold, that's at 90. I forget what the other one is. That one also super hot. I'm like, great. And then I walked anyways. Because I'm like, man, it's 70, it's 75. It's probably gonna be the last really nice day that we have. You know? And I think next week it's gonna start being like more of what I would call typical October temperatures here, which means I'm gonna have to transition to. Oh wow, I don't know why you would do that. I'm gonna have to transition to doing the bike, the exercise bike for exercise instead of walking outside. That's what I do in the winters. And yeah, so I like, I was like, man, 75, this is gonna be like the last really nice day, and I'm gonna go and make sure I go walk where I like to walk. And yeah, I feel worse than I did before, so. This is a real fun area. Whoa. Trying to make it through the Haunting of Bly Manor, but I don't know, like I'm 3 episodes deep into it and I just find myself bored. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, like, and I enjoyed when it came out. I enjoyed the Haunting of Hill House. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was pretty good. but it held my interest like through the whole thing. Whereas I feel like this one, like I'm having a hard time. Like I think I got through the first episode, and then the other night I was like, I should watch some more of this, and then I just started like fiddling around on my guitar while I'm watching it. So like I just was so freaking bored watching it. Like it's just, I don't know, something about it. It's not holding my interest. And like there's not a lot of spooky factor to it either. It's very like, it almost seems like a love story this time, and not. Seems like a love story first and then a spooky story second, which is not why I would come to something called The Haunting of. So I don't know. I should finish it, but like I've been really bummed out by it. Like as I've watched it, I'm just like maybe it gets better, like that's why I should probably finish it, but I've been really bummed out. Yeah, I knew it was coming. Most nights I just find myself watching Dead Mall videos on YouTube or something like before I go to bed. And I have more enjoyment there, like that's the thing. Every night that I've been like, okay, I have like an hour, I could probably watch another episode of that show, I end up just watching a Dead Mall video on YouTube instead. And I feel like I get more enjoyment out of that. So, I don't know. Maybe that's me. But I just... Like I said, maybe I need to give it more of a bigger shot. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just not doing it for me. This boss, I don't remember being this hard. Problem is, like, he himself isn't that bad. It's all the stuff he spawns that sucks ass. I wish I knew how much damage he's doing. I don't think it's doing much. See, that's the dumb part. Like, oh, see, now he's gonna appear and it's gonna be shittier. Do I have anything I can heal myself with? Alright, that works. Oh. The problem is I keep hitting myself with that. I don't think I'm gonna have anything else that's gonna really help me here. Kinda in a rock and a hard place here at this moment. Yeah, shit. So I had to, in the middle of October, not the first time this happened with everything that's been going on the last couple of years with like weather, but for the first time today, I had to turn on my AC unit in this room, and like first time in like a week and a half. Not because, well, actually it was getting pretty ripe in here, but also like I need to just not be breathing all that pollen and stuff in, so. My big thing next spring is I'm gonna go and just finally, I need to, when I'm currently in like the middle, since I switched jobs in my personal life like beginning of August, so I'm in like I'm in between insurance basically. My new insurance doesn't kick in until November 1st or whatever. Once I have that, then I need to make a new primary, and I'm gonna go and get like a bunch of allergy test stuff done in the spring. Because I'm just like, I don't want to be this bad next year, basically. I was actually hoping that remothered sequel, Broken Porcelain, was going to be a good game, but like I was looking at first I was looking to see if there was any reviews. There's virtually like no reviews, like no critics have reviewed it yet. I'm like, okay, so I went to what the hell did that do? I don't think I was supposed to eat that. Whatever. And so I was like, okay. So I go to Steam because I'm like, well, the next thing I can do is just look up Steam user reviews and see what people have said. They are atrocious. So I'm not going to be playing it. Because that was my other school of thought. I'm like, oh, I'll buy it and I'll stream it, or I'll stream the beginning of it or whatever. We'll take a blind look at it and see if it's any good. And then I read those Steam user reviews. And it's not even just like people think it's a bad game, because that's one thing. But like, it sounds like it's incredibly broken, and they didn't QA the game at all. So that's where I'm like, if they're not even QAing the game, like, that's kind of shit. So, look at that sick move he just did. I wonder how much HP he has. I guess we'll grind a level or two here. Although that's gonna suck to do in the clock tower. But the other thing too for me is like every night I'm like, man, I really need to go to bed by like 11:30, and like every night I feel like it's just becoming later and later that I actually get to bed. Like last night I said to myself, oh, I'm gonna go to bed at 11:30, and then I sat reading something on my phone for like an hour, and then I look at the time, I'm like, oh, it's almost 1 o'clock, so, and I have to be up at like 7:30 in the morning, so, on days that I work. So tonight's the night. I feel like tonight is the night I'm gonna finally be able to get to bed at a decent time. We'll see, but I'm hoping so. I'm really hoping to. Like, that's my goal, fingers crossed. One of my goals this year, and obviously it didn't happen because of COVID and everything, is if none of that would have happened and I would have had a chance to go to the retro game convention that I go to in Milwaukee every spring, I was gonna look for a copy because I want to play this for HorrorFest at some point, and I don't actually own it, and I want to play Eternal Darkness. It's a game I know that's going up a lot in value recently, and it's one that, like, the sad thing is it's a game that I've passed up on picking up multiple times back when, like, retro shit wasn't the shit, so, like, I've come across it for, like, $20, and that kind of thing back when people didn't care, and I was like, oh, it'll always be there, kind of a thing. And now it's like, I don't even know what I should look. I don't even know what that game goes for today. My guess is like 60, 70. That's just me guessing. I could be completely wrong. It may have skyrocketed. Some games do, and like, that's the nature of the beast. Like I didn't know until recently, East 8 for the PS4, this is a current generation game, is up to $100. And like, I don't know if it's like they only made one printing. Excuse me. I don't know what the deal is with that game. That's what I've been trying to figure out. I was like, why is this game going for $100? Like, I own it. I bought it when it came out. It's just incredibly bizarre to me that game's going for that price. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. I can understand like why the other East games and stuff are going for a high price, obviously. But this is on a current PS4 system. It's not even like it's a limited run game or something. This game came out, you know, Falcom Soft or whatever. Is it Falcom Soft, right? They put it out. Like, so. I actually just reserved East 9. Wow, I just died horribly. I actually just reserved East 9 last night on Amazon. Only because I was just kind of scanning to see if there was any Prime deals on like cheap PS4. I don't really buy a lot of physical Xbox One games anymore because of Game Pass. Like, Game Pass has changed my purchase habits for the Xbox quite a bit. Like, basically, I have to know going in, like, okay, this is a game that's probably never going to come to Game Pass, or if it is, it's like years away. And then, you know, then it's the, do I need to play this day one? But like a lot of indie stuff, a lot of things that are like, a lot of indie games, a lot of things like that on the Xbox, I like $20, $15, $20 games and whatnot, I tend to pass on getting those right now because I feel like they're just going to hit Game Pass, you know. And I've been burned so many times in the last year of like going on Amazon and like, oh, this game's like $10, I'll buy that. And then a day later, oh, it's coming to Game Pass. So I have like 4 or 5 games that I've bought in the last year from Amazon for the Xbox that came to Game Pass. So now I just have sealed copies. Like Man of Medan. Was it like? I don't think it's on Game Pass anymore. I think they took it off. But that Yoko's Island Express or whatever that game's called, that was one. Plague Tale Innocence, which I actually didn't like that game. So it's just it gets absurd where I'm just like, oh, I need to stop. So I've kind of made this like mental note of like, don't do it unless you think it's not going to come to Game Pass, and even then it probably still will. So whereas like on the PlayStation there is no Game Pass, so like for there it's kind of just like, oh hey, I can, you know, whatever. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I look for physical PS4, because I actually own more physical PS4 than I do Xbox at this point, but of the two, like if I'm looking to collect physical games, that's just kind of the way I lean. And also because of Limited Run, like Limited Run, I forget what the reason is. Limited Run doesn't really publish Xbox games, which is a bummer because I think it'd be really cool if they did. There's been some cool ones that have been digital only. Like I would really like to see a physical copy of Cuphead. So, but yeah, we're getting my ass kicked tonight. What do I need to level up again? Oh boy, that's a lot. How much is one of those worth? Not enough. Like, I'd have to kill 46 of them. Oh, wow. Can I make this easy upon myself? I might be able to make this really easy. If I can get that off like that every time. Do I do that? Do I just sit here and grind? This is like the most boring thing in the world, but sometimes, man, shit. Desperate measures. Where are you going? No, not what. Oh, there's 3 of them there. The problem with fighting these things is they're kind of like floaty. Actually, the most recent Dead Mall videos I was just watching a couple minutes ago, or like an hour ago, I guess. was a good one because and it said in the title it was like annoyed security, so I knew it was coming. But I just sometimes I laugh at the balls some of these people have, because it's like they go in, you know, and they're in. This one was like some abandoned mall in Cincinnati for whatever reason, and this was 8 months ago, so it's probably changed. But for whatever reason, there's like one anchor store that's still open, but it's not like it's physically attached to the mall, but there's no way to get in or out of that building from the mall portion. The only way to get in or out of this business is going to the actual physical location on the outside of the mall, walking in, kind of like you're walking into a Target or a Best Buy or something, right? But for whatever reason, the person that owns this mall or bought this mall is keeping it standing, and you can just go in and walk around. Like, you can literally just walk into this mall and walk around, but they don't want you to film anything. And there's like what I would call like the most like when I say the word security, I mean security. Like it was just basically some guy in like a security t-shirt that's just like, the owner doesn't want anybody filming here, and the guy's like, oh, okay, sure, I'm not gonna film anymore. And then, like, you know, sure enough, and I think he even says in the video, like 10 minutes later, I'm filming again, and he's just like, I gotta see the rest of this mall. And he does for a while. Like, he walks around and nothing is said, and then all of a sudden it just, like, the next thing is it cuts to the security guy walking with him. It's just like, I told you, like, you can't do this. And then he's literally walking the guy out, but he doesn't kick him out. That was the part of the video that was weird to me. Like, he doesn't kick this guy out. He just walks him towards the entrance, and he's like, well, I don't care if you keep looking around and shit, but like, you can't take any pictures, you can't film here. The guy's like, okay. And then it's another 10 minutes later, he's like, there's a part of the mall I haven't seen yet. It's like I have a fascination with urban exploration and like dead mall videos specifically, but I wouldn't have the set of balls to be like that. Like, if somebody's telling me like, hey, get out of here, I'm probably gonna get out of there. So I've seen this guy take some other interesting risks though on like different, and the channel that I was watching, it's not just dead malls. There are definitely YouTube channels that specifically cater to just that specific type of urban exploration, but there's also like just in general, and that was one of the channels I was watching. So I've watched these people do a couple things. Like, one of the ones I was watching the other day, they went to like a movie theater in like the 90s, or it was a movie theater that was open in the 90s, so it had like a real 90s aesthetic to it. And I want to say they said it closed in like 2005, and you could tell just like walking into it, like, this was a movie theater that was built in the 90s. Like, it has all that like 90s tiling and stuff. But the thing about it, and again, every urban exploration channel is different. You have some people that are really respectful, and they're like, I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm just here to look. And then you have other ones like this channel in particular that I'm watching, where like the guy walks in, the next thing I know, he's like, oh, there's power in this building, and he's like pressing all these buttons and shit. I'm like, I don't think I would do that. And then at one point in the video, they like discover that there's a word. I don't know if they ever, I'm trying to think now. Maybe they didn't figure out if it was a working elevator or not, but they find an elevator. And then they legitimately pondered going into this elevator and seeing if it works. I'm like, I wouldn't touch that. Like, if this theater's been abandoned for 15 years, like, who knows if that's safe or not, you know? Interesting. But again, you have this like school of thought with it. Like, you have some people super respectful. They're like, I'm just here to look. I'm just here to capture footage. And you have other people that like do. And then you also have like what I would call like the dumb shit kids that do like legitimately go and vandalize these places, which I don't support that. But and there are some, like, I've definitely come across those on YouTube as well, where it's like, oh, we went to this mall and then we broke a bunch of glass and shit. And it's like, that's not good. So, urban exploration. I don't know. I have a huge interest in like watching those YouTube videos. series. I think it's a lot of fun. But they did one channel I was watching. This guy, like, he does a bunch of stuff. It's not just like Dead Malls. He's done like abandoned mansions. He's done like the movie theater one was pretty cool, actually. The thing that was cool about the movie theater one was they went up into like the second floor, which was just basically where they housed all these projectors, and all these projectors were still there. Because they were these things were huge. These things were like floor to ceiling with like all this piping and shit in them. So it's not like somebody could walk in there and just walk away with that. But it made me question a couple things when I watched it. Because I was like, first, I'm like, it definitely had some. I wouldn't say the whole building had power. Like some of the building had power, but I always question. I'm like, how did this guy get in there? Because like you can't just. If it's an abandoned movie theater that has been open in 15 years, you can't just walk into that. I would assume it was probably locked. So that kind of shit always brings questions, you know. And they're not going to show that on a YouTube video, so they're not going to show like, oh hey, you know, we broke this glass to get in this building, because that's where you obviously get in a lot of trouble. So. I didn't want to do that. I was actually going to go try this boss again. But yeah, it's interesting. But like I said, and that's the stuff, I don't support the kids that are like out there vandalizing shit. Like, that's stupid. But I've also always wondered like how some of these YouTube channels and stuff get away with it, because basically by like uploading a video like, hey, I went into this abandoned mall or whatever and filmed, you know, if that's a place that has a bunch of signage or something that says no trespassing, you literally just posted video evidence of you trespassing in that area, you know. So like I'm not entirely sure how that works. Like I don't know what the legality of it is, basically. I've always wondered. I'm being really sloppy with this fight this time. I might as well die and try again, because like I already have so low health. I guess we'll try it. The thing that's going to be more interesting with moving that PS2 over here is I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to set that on this test. The thing that's nice about the GameCube is I actually used to have that in my entertainment center, and I just use this controller, so the Wavebird, so I don't have a wireless PS2 controller. That comes from that era where it really, like, you don't really need that. So I adjust something on the fly there. What's another frame we can try? I have to kill 46 more. I don't really want to do that. But I even feel it tonight. Like, I just feel incredibly exhausted. Because, like I said, the last couple, it's like a combo of like last couple of nights. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna totally get to bed at this time, and then I don't. And then the allergy stuff really hit me today. Tonight I was like, this is where it gets really shitty, though. That's the problem. It's not really a good way for me to block that. That's it's so cheap to me too, because it does so much damage. Like, and if you get hit with it twice in succession, there, like, it's over. Yeah, fudge, dude. I didn't know the stream tonight was gonna be me dying over and over again to this boss. Like, wow. Really showing the skills tonight. Should see it. Light is so freaking bright. We'll try them one more time. If that doesn't work, then we'll just grind again, I suppose. I don't think I really have. That's what the other thing I was going to look at. Like, I feel like that's probably the best sword I have, because it does 81 damage. I don't think I have anything other than that that's going to do any... I guess this... It's a spear. Would that be faster? It's slow. It does like 5 more damage than the other thing. I don't know if it's really worth it to switch that though. Because you have to get in a lot closer. And it has a little bit of a wind up. Well, I'm actually doing a pretty decent job of hitting those. I don't know, maybe. I knew I was gonna get hit by one of those. I gotta be getting close. Like, I feel like I've hit this thing 100 times. There we go. Oh, I don't know if that's any better. Use more. Problem, it comes in the second part because it's hard to avoid. It's really hard to avoid that stupid weapon when he throws it. Like, even getting hit by it there sucks. And there seems to be no rhyme or reason when I can duck it and when I can't. I hate the back move he does too. That's super annoying. See, like right there, like, that's trashy. I guess we'll try grinding again here. No. Whoops. I don't know if I am gonna change that weapon because again, like you know what? That's what I should do. I haven't really looked at like. I mean, that brings up my defense a little bit. Actually, ooh, that samurai armor brings my attack up. Interesting. I guess I don't really technically need to walk in the water right now, so. Does it say I'm doing 90 damage now? That seems... This actually might be the route to go with this. I don't know, there's been weird, like ever since I've started this new job, like I feel like I've become more of an old man too. Because like there's some nights where it's just like, there was one night since I started this job, I want to say I went to bed at like 10:30 or something. Like, it's so early to me. Although, to be fair, it was a night I came back from my girlfriend's house and I had this just like horrible night. I'm still impressed that I was able to drive home. Like, it was just throbbing in my ear. And and to be fair, I laid with a washcloth over my eyes for like an hour or something. I just couldn't shake it. And then it finally wore off. Like, I think I took some Advil or something, and it finally wore off, and then I just went to sleep. At that point, like, there's not much more you can do other than, like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. Like, there's no point. Because, like, what am I gonna do? Watch TV? I feel like the headache's just gonna come right back, so... But for me, it's what I would call it is a pressure headache. I get those every time we have like a 20 to 30 degree temperature difference within a day. Which that's why I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Because tomorrow it's supposed to only be a high of like 52 where I live, and today it was 75. So I feel like tomorrow I might be due for one of those. We'll see. Hoping not, but we'll see. After we level up this time, we should be able to take care of this boss now. It doesn't help too that I burned my tongue earlier on some coffee. close. There we go. I'll let them fly to me. Taking their sweet ass time to get in here. Because they know death's waiting. I also purchased, I don't think I'm going to stream it, but I did purchase, and I tried a little bit of it. It's an early access that, I know I'm going to say it wrong. Phasmophobia, I think. I keep wanting to call it Fangoria, and I know that's wrong. I want to say it's called Phasmophobia. I want to say that's what it's called. But it's basically like a cooperative ghost hunting game. It's pretty cool. What I played of it, like I played the tutorial, and I think I started one of the missions, but I didn't get very far with it. It has a very, like, it definitely does a good job of like building a spooky atmosphere. The problem with it is, like, if I wanted to stream a game like that, I would want to play it. It's meant to be played in a co-op, and I just don't have the capacity to try and run some sort of cooperative stream right now with somebody. So. And I don't think it's a game like, I could stream it solo, but it's really not meant to be played solo. Like, you probably could, fumble your way through the missions that are in the game now solo, but you can only carry 3 items, and a lot of the missions require more than 3 items, so unless you want to run out to this van to keep getting other items and shit, like, it's just, it seems like that would get repetitive really fast, so. But I, like, the little bit I played, like, it definitely has cool atmosphere. I think it's pretty, like, interesting game. So, let's save here, and then we'll go to this boss again. So I picked that up. But no, I'm, like, tomorrow we're gonna look at Kodalka. Next week, Wednesday, we're gonna take a look at Amnesia Rebirth, blind playthrough. I'm not going to do a full playthrough, but it's going to be, what am I calling, first look live, basically. We're going to take a first look at that game and see what it's like. I'll probably launch it before I start the stream, just to make sure it launches okay. I'm excited to see that game. I really like the original Amnesia. I never played a Machine for Pigs, but I know that was made by a different developer. And then I don't know after that. I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. We might do. I was thinking of doing and seeing if it works now. A PC run of Resident Evil 3 with mods. I haven't fully decided. There's a lot of wacky mods. So part of the problem is the last time I tried to stream Resident Evil 3 through my PC, it just did not want to have it, and that's why I ended up playing through the PS4 version. I own that game on all platforms, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to dick around with that game with the mods. So we might do, and that game's super short, so we might do a run of that. Like, even still, like, even ducking, float yourself back. I'm trying to get him to just do that stupid one because that one doesn't really. But again, if you get too close, that's what's even shittier. Ah, we're close. We're gonna get him. Ugh. My Castlevania game's not showing today, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm thinking that I'm still in the process of figuring out what and if I'm going to be doing a stream on Halloween night or not. I don't know the logistics yet. It kind of depends on what I have going on personally behind the scenes. Not that I have any like Halloween plans or anything like that, but it depends on where I'm going to be that weekend. Am I going to be here? Am I going to be at my girlfriend's house, basically? Because I cannot stream up there. Like, I don't have any of this equipment up there, you know, and internet up there is not what it is where I live. So, I've said before, she lives kind of out in the boonies, so they did recently just get better internet. So I will say that it's not like what I would rely on, you know, like 100%, but compared to what they had prior, it's a night and day difference. So. But I don't think I would be comfortable streaming off of that connection. So I'll put it this way, like my current Comcast, I have Comcast, which don't get me started, but my current connection is probably 5 times the speed of what they now have. Before that, it was probably like 30 or 40 times. The internet they had prior was like the worst internet I think I've ever seen. Reminded me of like dial-up days, like it was that bad. So, it was scary. Scary. You would be lucky, basically, like, for example, like, if I wanted to, like, if we wanted to watch something on, like, YouTube or Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, whatever, what you would have to do on the internet they previously had is, you first of all, you'd be watching at 720p, like, there wouldn't be any room for anything higher than that. If you were lucky, you'd get a 720p stream, but what you would have to do is start the video, pause it, because otherwise it will buffer forever, and just kind of let it initially buffer, and then you might be able to get through an episode of something without it buffering. And it is, oh my god, it was the worst. And if somebody else in the same household was like, let's say somebody else in the house was like, oh, I'm gonna watch Netflix on, you know, this other TV or something, 2 people wouldn't be using it. So it was a real shit show. So thankfully that's not, wow, I did really bad that time. That's not the case now, but I wouldn't feel comfortable trying to run a stream off of it. And like I said, I don't have my equipment up there. I'm not moving all this shit. I don't even want to think. I don't even want to think when I move next year. Like, I don't even want to think about all the shit that I have to move. Like, oh god, it's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be bad. Like, I have so much stuff to move. Just in this room. Like, I'm not even talking about other shit. Like, oh man. Like, now I'm starting to think about it. I'm like, oh, there's so many That was my fault. That's the worst part of the first part. Is these little axes that you keep making. It's like you can dodge this big scythe like pretty easily. But it's like there, and if you get in like a circle thing there, it's game over. keeps doing the same thing. Might as well use all my damage. Might as well use what I have to, so. Ah. Shit. Damn, dude. Getting my ass handed to me tonight. I don't know if we're gonna finish this game. I don't know if we're gonna finish it. Like, I've spent an hour on this boss. I feel terrible because, like, normally I fly through these games fast, but, like, tonight I'm just doing horrible. Horrible. And I don't want to, and that's the thing, like, I don't want to sit here and grind these stupid enemies again, because, like, I don't feel like it adds that much for this boss. It's kind of just the timing. Shit. If I do a Halloween stream, it's either going to be, I'm going to do a run of the original Resident Evil, or more Dead Rising. So, or I might do some Zombies Ate My Neighbors for Super Nintendo. So, kind of really depends. But like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out. It really depends on what's going on that weekend. So just keep looking at the Twitter handle, because that's where I post all my updates and stuff. And we'll go from there. Honestly, right now, like, I don't even know. I've been sitting here trying to think what I'm gonna do for a video next week. Like, I did the Mafia, so if you guys haven't watched it yet, anybody watching the stream right now, I have a review of Mafia Definitive I just posted. That was my first time working with 4K video files. Obviously, the video itself is not in 4K, but it went better than I expected. But the problem that I ran into, and you can see it in the video, is it captured all that footage with HDR on. And when you capture footage of a game, that has HDR on, and then watch it back on a non-HDR monitor, it looks really washed out. So I kind of peeped that video like after I had posted it and realized that, and was like, oh, that's right. So I do apologize for that. But if you haven't yet, check that out, because that is probably one of the best games I've played this year. Highly, highly recommend that game. Really cross my fingers and hoping that they do a next-gen patch for that game for one of the systems or both the systems, because I would love to buy like a physical copy of that for the Xbox, let's say, and play it on the Series X. I'd play through it again. I really enjoyed my time with it. So. And the thing now is, like, now that they finally kind of perfected that series, because, I mean, obviously, like, Mafia 2 was okay. Mafia 3 got repetitive really fast. Like, it had a really interesting story. But the reason I stopped playing it was because it had a, like, major reliance on these side missions, and I died again. I probably died like 30 times this game. It's like Dark Souls, right? I guess I'll grind again. I guess that's what we're gonna do. The third one had like a heavy reliance on these really shitty repetitive side missions. But the problem, what would happen is they locked like the main missions behind getting these done, and it just dragged that game out way longer than it needed to be. Like, one of the things I really enjoyed in that game was there was like an achievement or a trophy or whatever for taking a dude to the swamps and like disposing of a body to the alligators in the swamp. That was a good achievement. And like I said, I thought what I played of the game, I really enjoyed the story. I thought the story itself was really good. That's one thing where Mafia has always shined, I think, as a franchise, is in their storytelling. First one's always going to be the best one. Second one was probably the weakest. And I thought the third one, like I said, the storytelling itself was really good. The gameplay was really repetitive. So, but I think now that Hainer 13 went back and they, redid the original Mafia, I'm really curious to see them make a new one for the new systems coming out in a couple of years. I think that'd be awesome. I would assume that was the reason behind remaking the original Mafia, was like, hey, let's see if people still give a shit about this franchise. And from my understanding, it sold pretty well. So, I mean, I don't know if the numbers are out there yet, but I didn't hear anything negative about the sales of that game. So, I'd really like to see a sequel, a new Mafia. I think that'd be cool. Maybe set this one in the 80s. So I'm trying to think. They did the 30s. They did the end of the 40s and kind of the 50s with Mafia 2, and then Mafia 3 was kind of the late 60s. So I think it'd be cool to visit the 80s. Kind of the cocaine era. Hey man, GTA did the 80s, so anything's possible. This is something I was thinking about the other day. Like, at this point, what would a GTA 6 be? Like, I see all these videos. I think like one YouTube channel, and I don't like to shit talk on a YouTube channel, but one channel I find that is just egregious with clickbait. Video titles and thumbnails and stuff is What Culture Gaming. I think they get really ridiculous with their clickbait, and I feel like they post once a week a video about GTA 6. Oh, we heard this rumor from this person, but they'll always title the video as like new evidence to suggest GTA 6 is coming next year, or it's dumb shit like that where it's like, no, it's not. And the thing is, like, now that I think about it, like, what would a GTA 6 even be? Because all they do is make insane money off of shark cards and microtransactions for GTA Online. While also continuing to sell, copies of Grand Theft Auto 5. Somehow, like, there are people out there that don't own that game yet. Like, there's somehow, somewhere, there is somebody who doesn't own a copy of that game. I own that game on... I own it... Let's think about this. I don't think I have it on 360 anymore. I think I traded it in when I worked at GameStop when the Xbox One version came out, because they had a deal. So I own it on the Xbox One, I own it on the PS4, and I own it on PC. And... again, I feel like everybody's owned that game 2 or 3 times over at this point, so it's kind of like, what is happening with it, Give me 1 second here, guys. But that's the question I keep asking myself. Is like, what would a GTA 6 be today? Because Rockstar has no incentive to make a new Grand Theft Auto. Because unless people stop buying GTA 5, or stop buying shark cards, or playing that game online, they have virtually no incentive whatsoever to make a new Grand Theft Auto. And they're already porting this one to the next generation of consoles. So I don't even know what GTA Online looks like today because I haven't loaded Grand Theft Auto Online up since 2014. Probably 2014. And that was back like pre-Shark Card. I don't think they started really doing the Shark Card stuff until like end of 2014, 2015. So, why is my phone blowing up? So, oh, we're almost there. That's why the question I keep asking, like, what? And the other thing too is like I thought when did I buy? I bought GTA 5 for PC the last Steam Christmas sale, so last fall, when it was like $15 or something. So I was like, whatever. I'd actually like to see this. At the time, that's when I was primarily using that 144 hertz monitor as my main monitor. Now it's my secondary monitor. And so I installed it just to kind of see. I'm like, oh yeah, this game looks really good at 144 hertz. I don't know if I would play through this again. But part of the problem is that game takes 108 gigabytes of storage. So, and on this computer that I'm using, the computer I use to play games on, and the computer I use to edit, I have a 500 gigabyte NVMe drive, and that gets eaten up really fast. And then I have a terabyte SSD, like a standard 2.5 inch Samsung SSD. And actually, the NVMe drive is also a Samsung Evo. I had 2 Evos. And then I have like my big rotational like 3 terabyte, and that's just my like backup storage. That's literally just robust backup storage. So that I use to like I store like I have not rough cuts, but I have basically not every Marvel Gallery video that I've made, but most of them. I think the very first year I didn't save the raw files for those. Because my thinking back then was like, oh, I have all this on YouTube, whatever, it'll just be archived there forever. And then I started thinking about, the future and stuff, and if, I ever got into a situation where I needed to, something happened, I needed to delete this account or something. Got out of the YouTube game or whatever, but I still wanted access to all those videos. That's why I was like, no, I really need to make archives of these just in case. So, yeah, the first year of video content I don't have anymore. Archived. Like, at all. Just on YouTube. Excuse me. So, let's try again. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I keep dying. This might be where the run of Castlevania ends. Like, well, I guess not. We'll just play Kodauka tomorrow. Those 2 whole more points of damage I do are really going to help I was actually right now I'm trying to think of games that I have installed to the NVMe drive because I have select games. The Witcher 3, which I started doing after I built this PC back in January. That was like the first game. I was like, I'm gonna do a full run of this and I'm gonna mod it up and stuff. And I probably got like 20, 25 hours deep into it, and then that was when I started having all my gall issues and stuff. So that kind of just put an end to me playing that at the time. And obviously a lot of it was like I didn't feel comfortable sitting in a chair for a long period of time, because when you have pain in your body like right here, you don't want to sit up, you know. So it's insane to think like that's all pre-pandemic. Like all that stuff for me went down pre-pandemic. I spent like shit, man. I probably was out sick from work like 2 or 3 weeks through all that stuff. Going to the doctor, went to the ER, went to the urgent care twice over it. Then all the follow-up appointments. Then they had to do the like, well, we need to make sure if this is what it is. I had to do the like walk/run on a treadmill type thing to make sure my heart didn't have any issues, which my heart was perfectly fine. They were actually surprised how healthy that is. And how well I did, because I'm a larger person, and I think they took a look at me. They're like, "Oh, this dude's gonna croak on this treadmill," and I crushed the treadmill. So they were really impressed with how well I did on the treadmill. So, yeah, shit. We'll give him another try or two, and then that might be it for Castlevania. If that happens, I might take the street now for a couple minutes and try to connect my Super Nintendo Mini here, since it's sitting here somewhere, and maybe we'll mess around with some games on that or something. Because I can't imagine it's very fun to watch me die over and over again to death here. So, but yeah, I keep thinking like that was all pre-COVID, like. Because when did that, I'm trying to think of when I first had my first really bad, like, this doesn't feel right for the first time in like 4 or 5 years since I was originally diagnosed. I want to say that was, I think the first time it happened, it was the very end of January. It was like a week or 2 after I built this PC. And it was weird too, because it was like a day I went to work, and I was feeling okay until it was like lunchtime, and I went into our like break room, and I remember sitting down, and it was like the minute I sat down, it was like this pain that just like reverberated around my body or something. Like it just like shot up to the point where like I didn't feel comfortable sitting down, and that's when I kind of knew, because that's how it was in the past. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. And then I kept trying to sit down, and just I couldn't. And so finally, like I didn't know what to do. I kind of panicked, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out and sit in my car. Sat out in my car for a little bit and just felt worse and worse and worse. I'm like, I need to go to the ER. And that was kind of I was like, oh, this is happening now. I'm gonna go to the ER, they're gonna look at me, and they're gonna go, oh, we're gonna take this thing out right now. And that's what I thought. And then I go to the ER, they do all the, they do every test in the book that they have to, because the ER, they're gonna be thorough. They also want to charge you, an arm and a leg, because that's what they're doing. And they run all their tests. I had to do like a CAT scan. I had to do a lot of stuff. And they came back and they're like, everything's good. We don't see anything. It's CAT scan. And one thing I'll tell you is, like, if you ever have gall issues, CAT scan will not show it. You have to have an ultrasound. And if you're still having issues after the ultrasound, they don't see enough of it, then they do. I'm trying to remember what the test is called. They do this other test where they inject you with like a tracer that they follow through your gallbladder. I didn't have to have that done, thankfully. But when I was getting all done, they're like, you're fine. The one nurse was just like, hey, I'm going to tell you, like, I'm pretty sure it's your gallbladder. I had this issue a couple years ago. And she's like, you need to follow up with a primary doctor. I wouldn't mess around with it. And I'm like, okay. And then same thing happened the following week. I felt a little bit better. I think I took the next day off work. They gave me some medication. I just kind of rested. And the very next day, I made those plans, whatever, to go see a primary. And then I want to say, went back to work the next day, fine, whatever. Or the day after that. And then it was the week after, so this would have been the first week of February. Happened again. Like, lunchtime, I'm just feeling like shit. Don't want to sit down. And I'm like, well, shit. What am I going to do? So that time I went to the urgent care instead. And then they did an x-ray and some other stuff, and they were, then they told me, oh, well, you just have your like typical irritable bowel syndrome, because I suffer from IBS. I have since I was 18. And like, okay, and they tell me what to do for that. And so I kind of, get led that way, but also at the same time, I'm like, no, I really need to just go have this shit checked out. This isn't great. Okay. So I finally link up with a primary health physician, which I only saw once, by the way. I only saw this person one time at this specific doctor. And then they, told me to go to a specialist. Then I have to go to a specialist. And the specialist is like, well, you need to have an ultrasound. I'm like, okay. They wanted me to do an ultrasound. They wanted me to do, the other thing they wanted me to do was this thing where they put a tube down your throat to look at the other end to make sure that there's nothing like going on with, like, if you have like an ulcer or something. And so I'm like, okay. And so I call and I schedule these things, and I try to call. I'm trying to remember what it was called for the other one. But I call, I schedule the ultrasound. I was actually able to get in super fast for that, like maybe within a week. And then I call to schedule the other thing. I can't get that done until Memorial Day weekend. And keep in mind, again, now we're getting close. We're getting like maybe 2 weeks out from when, the pandemic started. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, shit, man. Like, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to deal with this pain and wait until May. Like that's insane. We'll try him one more time. And so I'm like, okay, let's go have this ultrasound done. So I go, I have the ultrasound done, and then, I go and I have the results, and that's the first thing they say, like, okay, now you have the same stone that you had before. I only ever had one, but I have the same stone. It's bigger now. You need to make a appointment with a surgeon. You need to talk about having surgery and having this taken care of. Just have it out and be done. I'm like, okay, fine. I guess I finally need to have it done. And so then I made the appointment with the surgeon, and I had it scheduled for the end of March. That was the thing. Like the last week of March. And going into April, I want to say. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and then it was like, oh, elective surgeries were not, in the state that I live in, like, we're shutting those down. I'm like, oh, great. Obviously, if people have emergencies or something, like, they're still going to need it. They needed all hands on deck, obviously. I'm like, okay. So that pushed my surgery stuff back to July. And that's when I finally had it done. And I always was afraid, too. Like, that was the thing. Like, when I originally went in, like, years and years and years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, when this all started for me, to that doctor's credit I had at the time, I didn't have good insurance at the time. And that lady, that doctor, she just told me, like, you need to lose a bunch of weight. You need to get healthy. Because that time I weighed almost 400 pounds. Like, I was incredibly unhealthy. I also ate, like, Taco Bell 5 days a week. Like, I was insanely overweight, insanely unhealthy. And, could, at that time, if I had better insurance and stuff, could I have had the surgery done? Sure. I could have went through that. But the thing, I always look back on it now and I go, if I didn't have, if I would have done that, that wouldn't have given me enough of a kick in the ass to get healthy. And so I've never really regretted not having the surgery done. But the other thing I would say is, like, if you're out there and you run into this situation yourself, do not hesitate to just have the surgery. Like, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I was in and out within 3 hours. I was in and out and home within 3 hours. 4 hours. And it was like 3 days that really sucked ass after, and then it's just like that pain's gone, you know. It was 3 days that really sucked ass after, and then it was like a week where I couldn't sit down to eat. I had to stand. Just because I couldn't lean like the way I wanted to eat, so it sucked. But anyways, I think what we're going to do here is we're going to end Castlevania here, because it's not fun for me to just keep fighting the same boss over and over again. That's really boring. So give me a couple minutes. I'm going to take the stream down. I'm going to try and connect this Super Nintendo, mini Super Nintendo thing here. And then I'm going to bring the stream back up, and we'll kind of just mess around with some Super Nintendo games. So give me like 5-10 minutes here, and we'll be back. Hope you enjoyed the end of Castlevania.